Reuben's Rant.
Now, my rant this week is about the Royal Commission. Once again now, the Royal Commission, it's done with financial advice and it's gone on business lending. And they're investigating quite closely all the lending that the banks have done to small business owners. And as you'd expect, they're talking about all the bad stories. So people who have had franchises that have gone bad, banks coming to people and saying, we need to increase your loan repayments, parents being guarantors for their children's loans, and the business going bad. And there's no doubt there has been some unfair dealings that would have happened along the way. It's also important to note that there is a complaint system in place which has been operating successfully for a long time, which is called the Financial Ombudsman Service, which all the people who have been wrongly done by can certainly apply, and often they will rule in the favour of the customer if that is appropriate. But I think we sometimes we may be losing sight of what the role of banks are. A big part of the role of banks is to provide funds, to lend money to individuals, to investors, to business owners. If we tighten all that lending too much, what's going to happen is more and more people are going to be excluded from borrowing money from the banks. And that's going to be bad for the economy. And what will happen as well is if people go to the banks and can't get loans, we're then going to hear a whole lot of complaints about how they've been excluded from the banking system. So I think we've got to keep in perspective that, sure, there are problems which occur along the way, but let's not end up with an unintended consequence of it being more and more difficult for people to borrow money. What's going to happen then is people will go to more non-bank lenders, which will charge higher interest rates. So I really think that this any crackdown on banks' business lending is going to create unintended consequences. I think people need to take personal responsibility for the amount they borrow and the security which they put up.